Welcome to the Career Transition Workshop. You've done great. They love you and you love them. The interviews couldn't have gone better. Now here comes the deal, negotiation, bargaining for the bucks and the benefits. Session 11 begins our final two-part mini-series with a presentation entitled Win-Win Negotiations, How to Close the Deal. We divide this session up into three parts. The first part is The Price is Right, where we hope that the outcome is for you to recognize the value of the work you do and how it can be priced. Part two is Bargaining for the Bucks, where the outcome here is to help you learn about leverage and how best to position yourself to bump the bucks. And then finally, part three is Evaluating the Extras, where the outcome is to check out the checklist of the A to Z's of sizing up your benefits package. Well, a couple of remarks regarding negotiations in general. How many of you enjoy the process of negotiation? Bickering over the bucks, dickering over the dollars. Ask yourself why and why not. You know, some people enjoy negotiation. There was a lobbyist who was having dinner with a politician. Kind of after dessert, the lobbyist reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope and set it on the table and said, "If I told you that there is $50,000 in here and you can have it if you support our position, what would you say?" The politician leaned forward, eyed the envelope, and whispered, "I'll back you all the way." Before he could pick up the envelope, the lobbyist asked, "If I told you that there is only 500 in there, would you still support our position?" Well, the politician jerked back and said, "Do you think, sir, that I am some cheap, lowlife, no-count scumbag with no scruples?" And the lobbyist puffed on his cigar and answered, "We've already established that fact. We're now just negotiating the price." In negotiations, you don't get what you want. You get what you win-win. You don't get what you need. You get what you negotiate. And you don't get what you deserve, you get what you develop. So let's begin with part one, The Price is Right. What's the work worth? If you think about it, negotiations start when each party has a different price in mind. Each party should have thought carefully about what the work is worth. The prospective employer has their number, you have your number. Negotiation is getting the other guy to use your number. One range of numbers relates to true market value. The high-low numbers for true market value are not your numbers. The marketplace determines true market value. It is the range of dollars that most companies would pay today for someone to fill that position in their industry at their location. True market value may vary over time. It may rise or fall based upon supply and demand for talent. True market value may vary by industry. The same position in one industry may not command the same range of dollars in a different industry. True market value may vary also by geographic area. The same position in the same industry in the Southwest, for example, may not command the same range of dollars in a different part of the country, a different part of the world. Most offers made by companies will be within the range of the true market value. However, some may be higher than the top end or lower than the bottom end. Good employers invest a significant amount of time and money to determine true market value for each position within their companies. Often their compensation philosophy relates to true market value. For example, a company may want to be in the 75th percentile as it relates to base salary and in the 90th percentile as it relates to total compensation. Translated, that would mean that they would target any salary offer for the position at 75% up the range of what they have determined as the true market value. Here's a question. True market value and what the company offers you may be two totally different numbers. Why? Think about it. What the work is worth in the marketplace may not be what it is worth to them. It simply may not be as critical to their success or as important as it might be to another company. Or it may be all that they can afford or could budget given their circumstances. On the other hand, filling this position may require a unique set of skills and special experience that would drive a higher than normal price tag. While true market value is established by the marketplace, you get to set both your target maximum value and a threshold minimum value. Let's talk about each of these two. Target maximum value is a predetermined optimal dollar amount, your ceiling. Assuming that the job is a good fit, you will accept any offer that is equal to or better than this target amount. Target maximum values are usually set at or above the top range of true market value, but not always. For example, you may target mid-range due to your level of inexperience. Target maximum values should not be set too much higher than the top range of true market value. Otherwise, you would wonder why you were not seeking a higher paying position. Threshold minimum value is a predetermined cutoff dollar amount, your floor. Even if the job is a good fit, you will reject any final offer that is less than this amount. Threshold minimum values are usually set at or below the bottom of the range of true market value, but again, not always. Threshold minimum values should not be set too much lower than the bottom of the range of true market value. Anytime you discount yourself too much, it really raises a red flag with the hiring authority. Your predetermined value should be adjusted up or down for each job opportunity. Your objective in negotiation is to move their initial offer up towards your target maximum value. Here's another interesting question. Is how much you are or were making a good indicator of how much you are worth? I'd say no. You may have been underpaid. Your company may have been having trouble or froze wages or limited pay increases for a while. I'd also say no because you may have been overpaid. Your long tenure with the company may have increased your value to them over the value of the same position anywhere else. You need to get objective, independent data on what the work that you do is worth. Solomon writes in Proverbs, "A wise man is strong, and a man of knowledge increases power, so go get the knowledge." Start with the salary research information provided by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics in the Occupational Outlook Handbook. Not only will the OOH give you information about earnings for hundreds of jobs, but also information about job prospects by state as well as job search tips. Another source of salary research information comes from compensation consultants, as well as outplacement consultants or executive search consultants. Next, check out various published salary surveys. High-level salary surveys are of little value. Find ones that are focused and targeted on your position, industry, and geographical area. There are a number of good websites listed in the Seeker's Notebook, including salary.com. Also, check out your professional trade association. They often sponsor and publish salary survey information. Finally, additional adjustments using a salary calculator, which helps you figure out how cost of living may impact salary in one area versus another. Here's a warning. Calculators often do not take into account differences in state-by-state taxation. Be sure to factor this into your final calculations. You will want to be able to say with confidence that the true market value for the position you seek, in the industry you're targeted, in the area of company you want to live, ranges from X to Y. So, do you right now, can you say that you know the true market value and have third-party published information to back it up? If not, go get it done this very week. Now, in determining your target maximum value, you must balance your need versus your greed. You win the moment your needs are met, not your greed. Translation: if the offer exceeds your target maximum value, accept it. Don't negotiate for more. How many of you have read that, quote, money is the root of all sorts of evil, close quote? Well, the Bible actually doesn't really say that. You're taking it out of context. This is the exact context found in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. It says, for the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil, and some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many a pang. Or as Solomon writes late in his life in the book of Ecclesiastes, he who loves money will not be satisfied with money. Money ain't the problem here. It's the love of money. If we love money more than anything, then it becomes our idol. God loves us unconditionally and wants us to love Him, not idols. Now, your target maximum value is also a function of fit for them. So ask yourself, on a scale from 0 to 10, how good a fit are you for them? If you are uniquely well qualified, 1 in a million, hey, target 1 million. But again, if you're a run-of-the-mill, dime a dozen, then maybe only target a dime. What is the value of you in that job? What is your capacity to grow into that job, to grow the job, to grow beyond the job? What is your commitment for the short haul, for the long haul? The better the fit you are for them, the higher you can choose to set your target maximum value. Your target maximum value is also not only a function of the fit for them, but it's also a function of the fit for you. Again, ask yourself, on a scale from 0 to 10, how good of a fit is this opportunity for you? How good a fit the job, the boss, your peers, direct reports, company, and the industry? How well does it fit your career path, your age and stage in life, your reputation? The worse the fit is for you, the higher you can choose to set your target maximum value. What about threshold minimum value? Do your budgeting and figure out what it takes for you to get by. Set your threshold minimum value above that amount. If you can negotiate the offer above, you accept it. If the offer remains below, you reject it. You also need to ask yourself, at what price would you take a bad job? High-stakes professional gamblers set how much money they want to win and are willing to lose before they sit down at the table. They set their high number and low number and discipline themselves to call it a night when either number is hit. You need to know when to hold them and when to fold them when it comes to negotiations. Well, let's go on to part 2, bargaining the bucks. So here's a key question. Should you take whatever they offer, or should you try to negotiate a better deal? Let's look at the good and the bad and the ugly of trying to better the deal, trying to negotiate. Let's look at the good reasons first. Now may be the only real time you get to negotiate your compensation. After you're employed, as a general rule, salary increases are not negotiated year by year. Second, if you start being paid low, it is extremely difficult ever to make up the gap. Third, you could be leaving money on the table. The original offerer may have some room to negotiate. The offer could be either below your target maximum value, which means that the offer is less desirable as is, or it could be below your true market value, which means that the position is undervalued as is, or it could be below your threshold minimum value, which means that the offer is unacceptable as is. So let's now look at the bad. If that's the good, let's look at the bad of trying to better the deal, trying to negotiate. In your efforts to win for yourself, you may lose sight of the win for them. I like what Ralph Sockman said. He said, "Be careful that your victories of today do not carry the seeds of future defeats." Now, the ugly of trying to better the deal, trying to negotiate, can be that they may decide to withdraw the offer altogether. Remember, your goal is to win the war for the work more than the battle over the bucks. If done well, you can turn the good and the bad and the ugly into a fistful of dollars. As the prophet Isaiah says, "Come now, let us reason together." In answering the question about deal or no deal, you have to look at leverage. Archimedes said, "Give me a place to stand and I will move the earth." Leverage suggests that if you are in the right position, far from the fulcrum, that a lightweight, played by you, can move a heavyweight, played by them. To answer the question correctly, you have to determine if you are in the right position. Do you have any leverage? No leverage? Hey, take what's offered. The greater your leverage, the better you can deal. So let's look at leverage. Let's look at the top 10 things to think over about leverage. Number 1, whoever is being chased has more leverage. Are you chasing them or are they chasing you? Which one is in hot pursuit of the other? This is a judgment call requiring some objectivity. It can shift back and forth over the course of the conversations. The one who is hopelessly in love has little leverage. Number 2, whoever can walk away from the deal has more leverage. Ask yourself, can I walk this deal? Are there other opportunities out there for me that could be better? Or is this the opportunity of a lifetime, one to die for? If the latter, you have little leverage. Number 3, being employed gives you more leverage over an unemployed job seeker. There is great leverage in being employed because a prospective employer has to beat the deal you already have in hand. Plus, having a job usually means you gain leverage on the first 2 points that we've just made as well. They are chasing you, and you can walk the deal and stay with the job you currently have. Number 4, you have more leverage dealing with your future boss than dealing with others. You have less leverage when dealing with a recruiter, or even less when dealing with internal HR. Why? Well, because your boss may be the only one who truly appreciates not only your immediate value, but your long-term potential. Psychologically, once the hiring authority has made the decision to hire you, they want nothing to stand in the way of you starting to work for them. HR, on the other hand, is trying to be fair, trying to fit the guidelines. It's their job. Nothing wrong with that. But bottom line, you don't want things to be fair. You want them tilted in your favor. Number 5, you have more leverage with a fast-paced, rapid growth company. Why? Well, they are outpacing the current workforce and they need more talent. This situation creates a demand which drives up the price of the supply. Number 6, you have more leverage when the game has moved into overtime, when their search for someone has taken a long time to find the right person for their bus. Additional time adds additional demand. They are feeling the pain of not having a person in the place. If you are that person, they will not want money to stand in their way. Number 7, whoever puts the dollars out first loses some leverage. We're going to suggest to you that throughout the entire interview process, you should focus on their frame of reference. Stay with their point of view. Sell yourself as the solution to their problems. Make them fall in love with you as the one and only who they want to fill this position. Don't ask about what the job pays or what the benefits are available. Those relate to your frame of reference. Wait for the "we love you." At that point, you have just gained the psychological edge. Then you can say, show me the money. The negotiation principle here is whoever suggests the first figure has to defend that number as the other party tries to change it. As the first player, you don't know how far apart you are from their figure. All you know for sure is that you are now on the defensive. This principle is a very tricky issue. Timing is everything. Who are you dealing with is also a factor. In session 9, Classy Answers to Classical Questions, we discussed how to try to get them to go first with a tactic called repel and nail. For instance, in past pay, we talked about the two tactics of it's not fair to compare and to delay the pay. And in projected pay, we talked about the tactic of prefer to defer. Early in the process, however, if a recruiter asks these questions, you may not be able to get past them if you don't give them an answer. A contrary view goes like this. To get the best deal, you need to go first. We don't agree, but here's how the idea works. The idea is to be aggressive and assertive. State the number above your target maximum value, then negotiate down from there. We don't recommend this approach unless you have all the leverage. There's too much danger that they will believe that you are out of touch or overpriced. They will give serious consideration to the next best candidate. In a weak economy where there is an abundance of supply, this tactic is just absolutely stupid. Number 8, the stronger the economy and healthier the company, the more leverage you have. The strength of the economy relates to the law of supply and demand, and consequently, you need to evaluate not just the economy as a whole, but more specifically as it relates to your profession, in your industry, in your geographical area. The greater the demand, the more leverage. The greater the supply, the less. Likewise, you need to assess the health of the company. Health relates to age and fitness. Early stage companies or declining companies may be strapped for cash. Even profitable companies can face cash management problems, which impact their salary structures. In good times with a good company, you might move a deal 10 to 20%. In not so good times, with not so good a company, maybe only 0 to 10%. Number 9, the higher up the food chain you are, the more leverage you have. Why, of course. The rich get richer rewards. They have more toys to exchange, to shuffle around, to trade off. The final look at leverage relates to their offer. If you can evaluate their offer in terms of total rewards, you may be able to leverage one part against the other. A total rewards package has 4 B's. The first B is base. Evaluate the base salary, not just in terms of today, but also what will it be tomorrow. The offer will establish your starting salary, but ask them, how will that salary change over the next 3 to 5 years? There may be some leverage in accepting a lower salary today with the promise of a rapidly increasing salary over the next few years. The second B is bonus. Evaluate their short-term and long-term incentive programs. Short-term incentives are designed to reward annual performance, while long-term incentives are designed with golden handcuffs in mind. These are typically fixed by position and are usually not negotiable. Evaluate the possibility of a sign-on bonus, which is usually designed to offset money concerns not handled with the base salary. There may be some leverage in combining a series of smaller issues and rolling them all into a single signing bonus. Third B is business. For higher level folks, getting a piece of the business is a means of providing longer term incentives for performance and golden handcuffs. If stock grants or stock options are awarded upon being hired, the amount of stock is usually negotiable. There may be some leverage in accepting a lower base salary to get more stock if you believe that the value of stock will offset what you give up. And then the final B is benefits. Tangible benefits can be measured by a price or cost associated with having it provided. For example, if their benefits don't include dental insurance, you can calculate what will be the cost to you. Only a few benefits are negotiable, which we will discuss later. Intangible benefits don't have a price or a cost, but are highly valued. For example, intangible benefits may be the company's culture, or working hours, or commuting distance, or travel requirements. Reminds me of the story of the married couple. The husband travels all the time. The wife has to stay home. He's so obsessed with the travel that he leaves sometimes Sunday afternoon, doesn't usually get back to Friday night late, then has to recover all of Saturday and goes plays golf and then back out on the road again. His wife complains about this. This is not why we got married. This is not what a marriage is all about. And under pressure, he just snaps and said, you don't know the first thing about business. If you owned a business or run a business, you might have an idea of what I'm going through and what I'm doing. He just stormed out and left. When he got back at the end of that week, his wife says, I did what you suggested. He's having a little trouble remembering. He said, about what? She said, I went and bought a business. Well, what kind of business did you buy? She said, I bought a little chicken ranch. I've got 2 roosters and 1 hen, and, we're in business. He just laughs at her and says, shows you how little you know about business. It doesn't take 2 roosters to furnish 1 hen. And her response was, it does when one is out of town all the time. Not being out of town all the time might be an intangible benefit you're looking for. Intangible benefits, they have value. So those are the 10 top things to think over when you're looking at your leverage.